Hello, I'm Jerry Littner, and this is State of the Town, a monthly show when we sit with our first selectman, Lisa Heavner, and get brought up to date on the state of the town. Lisa,
Hi,
thank
Jerry.
you for being so gracious.
My pleasure.
And carrying the burden. I read in the paper again today that still no state budget. And then I was reading in your report online that it could have been, and may still be, cut by half on the educational part. So it's kind of ambiguous in terms of what tax burden we individuals are going to be dealing with, right?
Right.
So you got any late inside scoop that's good news?
I wish I did. I don't. Unfortunately, it looks like the governor's proposal, if it goes forward, and we expect it to change, is about a $3.8 million hit for the town of Simsbury. You're right. It cuts educational cost-sharing grant by half. And more concerning to Simsbury and actually all municipalities is that it imposes a new obligation for the towns to contribute to the teacher pension system.
Yeah. Talk about that a little bit because, well, let me give a little background and then talk about us specifically here. As a financial advisor, I work with a lot of people planning for retirement, and a big difference that occurred, but not in all areas, was pensions were defined benefit plans, meaning that you work so many years, your salary is so much over that time, and then you're guaranteed a formula applied against that is what you're going to get.
Right.
However, that is actuarially figured at the point you enter that plan. Well, returns for the state, the municipality, and teachers would be state, haven't come anywhere near to meeting those expectations. So a lot of places went then to 401ks where there is no formula. You, the participant, I mean, your company may match to some degree, what you put in, but it is what it is, whatever it earned. Right. It's an unknown. But we have a large segment, especially state-oriented, and teachers included, that's what it needs to be.
So for some, remember, with teachers, they don't get Social Security, and the system was designed in the 1930s.
Right.
And in some ways, it's a good system because you can transfer your pension from town to town, so you don't have to finish your career in the town you start with, and that can be good for
for anybody who had defined benefit, it's great.
Yeah. Now, the problem, as you know, Jerry, is not only were the returns not good, but the state who designed the system and was responsible for the system, who negotiated it, did not fund it, even though it was their obligation. And that is leading to a huge problem. So this year we would be, under the governor's proposal, obligated to pay, not receive less, but to actually make a payment of over $800,000. Could we do that in 1 year? Yes. But the problem is, over time, it's expected to explode.
Sure.
And we cannot accommodate that. And there were no structural changes made with this obligation to the town. We still have no seat at the table. We still don't have any right to even be consulted on the pension structure. At the same time, we want to be respectful to our teachers who do not get Social Security, and who, through no fault of their own, the system is woefully underfunded.
Right.
So, but to shift that obligation to the towns and for the governor to say it's not a tax increase, I find curious, because it is certainly a tax increase.
Sure,
it's just a property tax increase as opposed to an income tax. Tax increase. And as you and I have discussed many times, the property tax is a very regressive tax.
Yep.
Doesn't care about how much income you earn. It's very hard on seniors and very hard on businesses.
Yes, and at the same time, I wouldn't want his job, because how do you answer it? I mean, and then Hartford itself, if they have to declare bankruptcy, I mean, I don't know. I wish magic wand, but I don't own one, and I don't know anybody who does, so it's going to be a rough road. And of course, for you, and the other town officials and the elected, it's a rough road because you can't say officially and finally this is what your individual burden is going to be to each resident.
Right. The amount of uncertainty that all towns are dealing with is almost unmanageable. It's getting to a point where it will become very difficult for all towns because we have obligations we need to meet and we need to understand what our funding level is going to be from the state. You know, our residents pay income tax, right?
Yeah.
And they pay income tax, and as a contribution to the state, and our residents are very happy to do so. Love the state of Connecticut, but as part of that contract with the state,
there were expectations, and actually there were promises.
There were expectations and promises.
And contracts.
And, you know, it is the state's obligation, actually, according to the judge in the most recent case, is responsible for education.
Yeah.
So to pull back on that in a system that they designed, that they broke, and to ask us to fix is extremely disconcerting. So we're going to be watching that process. I understand that the Republican Senate and House put together a budget, which I have not had a chance to review. It just came out a little bit ago. And we're hopeful that something will happen on Thursday. Today's Wednesday, for those watching at home, that we'll have something. But if there's no budget by October, the governor is going to start instituting cuts that are much deeper than that.
Yeah.
And it will be difficult to do planning.
Sure.
So
absolutely.
It's been very frustrating.
Yeah, but your job must be a lot of fun. The challenges, the growth opportunities. Oh, keep in there, keep in there.
It is a challenge, but the good thing is, and you're going to give me a hard time, but we actually work very well together with the other boards and commissions and town staff to do some very significant planning.
Why would I give you a hard time about that?
Because I'm always singing the praises of others, and they deserve
them. You're the goody girl. Everybody's great,
but
wonderful.
They really are.
I know,
very fortunate.
And actually I've acknowledged the coalition, the cooperation that you have increased and set I've been doing this 30 years, interviewing the first selectman. The political climate, well, we got a bump a couple years ago, but, I mean, you really have gotten people, and there had to be a willingness, obviously, on their part, too,
Absolutely.
to work and cooperate. But you listen well, you're intelligent, you articulate things, and you're far too nice. So that's the only problem I have with you. Okay, so now we talked about the stressful stuff. Let's talk about some things that, well, this might be stressful also, because last night there was a meeting on the solar farm.
Yes.
Now, how did that go?
So this was a series of meetings yesterday. So we did the field review at 1:30. So we met at the site, so at the corner of Hoskins and County. Had a brief description of the project from the petitioner, which is Deepwater Wind. And then the siting council members and anyone who was present did a driving tour of the entire site. After that, there was an evidentiary hearing at 3 o'clock, and that was for parties. And the petition,
a party?
Yeah, you have to be a party to the petition.
Oh, I see. Okay, not a party.
No, not that kind of party.
No.
So an evidentiary sort of hearing began. And so the petitioner put forward their case for the granting of the petition and started to lay out some of their evidence and put on witnesses, and the council began their questions of the petitioner.
But of course, it's the siting council, and beyond that, it's 3 states that make the decision, and the decision's been made. So is this just for people to feel good, to get to talk about it? Because nothing's going to change.
So, no, I don't think that's the case. The 3 states were involved in the request for proposals.
Right.
So they don't actually decide, they don't have a role in the siting council's decision. That goes back through the regular state procedure. So it will be the siting council in its entirety that will decide.
And hadn't they already decided, and now they're reviewing it?
No, they have not.
It's not decided.
This is the process of their decision. So they because of the amount of evidence there is in this and the issues that have been raised by the town and by, I think there are some residents have joined as a party, and the Department of Agriculture has raised some questions. There are a number of questions and cross-examinations that will occur, and it will be continued in October. But then the third part of the siting council's procedure happened at 6:30 in the evening, and that was public audience, where any member who is not a party has an opportunity to express their opinions to the siting council. And really very great job done by our residents. So very respectful. Some of them were for the proposal, some were against the proposal, some were for the proposal if they made certain changes. But they all had logical, reasoned opinions that they expressed.
Oh, there
very
had to
well.
be one or two that were totally crazy.
No, there weren't. They really did a nice job.
Margaret Thatcher, her car got hit by a tomato, so nobody was like that last
Nobody
night.
was.
It wasn't. No.
No.
Darn.
Sorry.
That would have
They did
made news.
They were very knowledgeable and really gave very thoughtful reasons for their opinions.
I don't doubt that.
Yes.
This town is like that.
It is like that.
Yes, it is.
And it's nice to see that.
Right. A couple other things. A lot of apartments going up. I mean, it's always, there's another one. There's another group. 120 here, 180 here. I guess they're filling up. I mean, people must want to come here.
So, that's a curious thing. We see the apartments now and we think it's a recent development, but these approvals were done, some of them 3 or 4 years ago. The Hartford property, the Silverman Group, was done through the charrette process, started under Ms. Glassman. They reached out to the community and said, what will you tolerate on this property? And the residents who came and showed an interest said, well, we could tolerate mixed use. And so that's how that came about. And the Aspen Gardens, again, was done many years ago, even before Mr. Rabbit, who was the new planner, was on board. That had already been done. So we
Is that Peter?
No, it is not.
No,
it's Jamie.
it's not Peter Rabbit?
Yeah, no. So a lot
I
of
went to
projects
talk to Jamie.
Well,
He gave me a hard time.
Did he?
Yeah, because I'm still on this thing about the town having the difficulty and expense of maintaining all these open spaces in
The
development.
senior citizen pods you want?
Yeah, and that these be backlots available. It could be to anybody, but senior citizens who want to stay, who would like to downsize. There could be some sort of exciting program about energy efficient houses.
Did you talk to Mr. Scully? Did you know the Scullys who bought the Webster Bank, they're going to be building energy efficient?
Yeah,
That's one of
I
the
did
things
not.
they're going to be exploring.
No, because really, Mr. Rabbit kind of told me, once it's public land, it's public land.
So it is very hard to convert, and that may not be the best way to meet the needs that you're looking for, but
It would be. I mean, the land is like a drain now, so if you just gave it away, it would be an improvement.
but you have to get utilities there, and there has to be access to that land. So it's
But they're on cul-de-sacs. There's already utilities there. It's just changing the frontage. And then so I said, well, what if you go to zoning? I said, I've got a big lot, not quite big enough to subdivide because I need 2 frontages because I'm a corner lot. And so I said, well, I could go to the zoning and says, and what would your exception be? I said, well, it's more affordable for me. Yeah. Financial hardship is not a reason for zoning exception.
So there are laws out there, you're right, and sometimes the laws don't permit certain exceptions, but you can talk to your state rep and get the laws changed. But you're right.
It's a state law?
Yeah, or I don't know. This may be a zoning law. You can get the zoning laws changed too, but you have to go through the zoning commission or through the state law, depending on which law it is that's applicable.
Okay.
But they are tied to the laws.
It's not going to be easy.
It's not.
I don't think I'll live long enough. Okay, well, you'll have free time. You can work with me on it come next year. Okay, fantastic. Well, let's talk about fun, exciting, some really interesting things. So if you would like to introduce your guest, this is like Lisa Squared today.
It is.
Okay, go ahead. Lisa, come on, join us.
We're very pleased to welcome Lisa Gray from the Simsbury Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you.
Lisa, I'll ask you to scoot in.
Yeah, scoot over a little bit here. So,
thank you for having me today.
Well, we are glad to have you, and you were actually a business person in the community. And how long has it been now since you moved to the chamber?
It's 3 years this month, in fact.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So they're going to have
I think today might be my anniversary. Come to think of it, yes.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Well, as a member, unfortunately, most of the things are on Thursdays, and Thursdays is Jan and I, our granddaughter day in Guilford. So
Nice.
I usually don't make those. But
Well, I
I've-
encourage you to check our calendar because we do a lot of things on Tuesdays and Wednesdays as well.
I know,
Jerry.
but some of them are in the morning.
Oh,
I mean, I
well,
have to get up early.
you know, truth be told, if I didn't have to be there, Jerry, I wouldn't either. I'm not a morning person myself, so I completely understand that.
And then some of these are, it's not newcomers, it's new member, whatever. And I thought, well, I've been a member for a long time,
Yeah.
although I did slip up the one year but recently. But it's like, I don't think they want old people there then.
We do have a new member luncheon, but it's open to everyone because it's a great way for even longtime members such as yourself to learn some things maybe you didn't know about the chamber.
And to meet
Just
new
get
members.
a little refresher and to
Yeah.
meet new members, yes, and
Oh,
network with them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Check us out sometime.
Well, I will. I definitely will. I did go to one last year that was up. Now, was it actually Antonio's or Hoops and Hops? I forget where it was. It was a chamber thing.
We did have an after hours at Antonio.
Yeah. And the few people that were old enough to recognize me kind of looked at me like, "Oh my God, he's still alive." Yeah,
I'm sure.
kind of
pleasure to
interesting.
see you, Jerry.
Yeah, they did. Absolutely,
pleasure to
they
see
did. So you have some very exciting things coming up that we're going to tease a little bit. Let's do the first one, which is neat in itself, but the second one I think is exciting. So the first one is in October, and it is.
It's October 28th. It is our third annual Simsbury Spooktacular Chili Challenge.
And explain that. Who can, in fact, compete, and why would they?
Really, anyone can compete. This year we have an
Excuse me a
amateur-
minute.
Yes.
Lisa, are you going to make some chili?
I will eat some chili.
She's been there. She's eaten chili with us. Yes, it's a lot of fun. But we do have an amateur competition, which is how we started out. This is our third year. We
Yeah.
started out as strictly an amateur competition.
Right.
So people from all over the state of Connecticut come and cook chili with us. Last year, I believe we had 20 or 21 cooks. We're shooting for at least the same this year.
Okay.
Last year, we added a restaurant competition. So we had 9 restaurants who competed last year. This year, so far, we have 15 who
Oh,
have signed
wonderful.
up to compete so far from all over the area.
Now, who judges?
It depends on the competition. For the amateur competition, there is a pre-selected panel of judges. It is, the chili cooks are cooking traditional Texas red chili, chili verde, which is the green chili that many people enjoy, and salsa. Those 3 items are judged by a pre-selected panel of judges because that competition is sanctioned by the International Chili Society.
Oh, my goodness. So what are the judges' qualifications? Just they
You
like
just have
chili?
to like chili, that's all. That's all, and have a couple of hours of time to devote to it.
And are they
Yeah.
their names anonymous, so nobody tries to
No.
bribe them or
No,
anything?
no, not at all. No. In fact, we have several celebrity judges that join us each year, and we put a nice big.
Oh, that's
poster
why
up.
Lisa's eating.
The judging area is right out there in the open. We put a poster with everyone's names out there. So there is a pre-selected panel of judges that judge the International Chili Society competition.
Now, is it
Then-
too late? Like, say maybe 50 of our viewers say, "Hey, I make a great chili."
Yes, please join us. Do give me a call because we would love to have you.
Okay, so what
What
number
is
would
the
they
phone
call?
number?
860-651-7307.
Okay.
And-
7307.
Yes, and our website is very easy. It's
7307.
simsburychili.com where you can go and get all the information on
Oh,
the website.
okay, great.
So in addition to those 3 items, the red, green, and salsa, the cooks can also cook People's Choice chili, which is the chili that's judged by all of the attendees at the event. So when you come and taste chili with us, you're going to have these little voting mechanisms. You're going to get a tasting bag. It's going to contain a little 2-ounce cup and a spoon and a napkin and a couple of little voting pieces. We're not sure exactly what they're going to be yet. But when you find your favorite cooks, you're going to put that voting piece into their cup that's located at their booth.
Wow, you got to zip around if you have
You
that
do?
many to
Yes.
taste.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
So it
That's what
starts
I'm
what time and
It
runs till
starts
how late?
At noon. The competition is from noon to 5, and then the restaurant competition, though, is just from 2 to 5.
Okay.
And that chili is judged by everyone at the event as well. And something really great that we're excited about that we've added this year is a youth competition.
Oh.
So kids 17 and under can compete, and we've had a lot of interest in that so far. Some Girl Scout and Brownie troops have contacted us, and even we have a 10-year-old who's signed up.
That's
to cook already.
wonderful.
So, yeah,
And we have
we're
a
very
great
excited about that.
culinary program at the high school. So
I know, yeah. We've been to the dinners at different times, and it is
Yeah.
really,
Isn't it
really
lovely?
good. Yeah.
We're going to try to get the high school.
So what does somebody pay to come to this?
It's just $10
Okay.
for age 11 and up. 10 and under are free. And
Oh.
it is a real family event. So we want people to bring their families. We've got trick-or-treating for the kids. We've got live music. And, of course, all the chili you can handle. So.
It sounds like
We
great.
even added a touch-a-truck event this year, too. Young children oftentimes like to climb on the fire trucks or the construction equipment and the police cars and things. So we've got a lot of those coming this year,
And then I'm
too.
assuming there are a lot of porta potties there.
There are, yes. yes.
Okay, well,
Definitely necessary.
that's great. That sounds like fun. And the date is October.
Saturday, October 28th, the Saturday before Halloween.
Oh,
so we encourage
wonderful. Wonderful.
parents, everyone to dress in costume, actually, bring the kids in costume to trick-or-treat, and we have a costume contest as well.
Okay, now the other one I just heard about the other night, and I think it's so unique and so exciting. I don't know if it has a name, but if you would describe it or...
It is called Life in Simsbury, a public art trail. And what we're doing is from May 15th, 2018 to September 15th, 2018, so a span of 4 months, we're bringing some sculptures into town that have been created by an artist by the name of Seward Johnson, who is an heir to the Johnson & Johnson fortune. And he has been making these sculptures for decades. And they're displayed all over the world. And some of the viewers may have seen them. They've been in a town in Indiana. They've been in Key West. Right now, they're in Old Westbury on Long Island. People can go there and see them through September 24th, I believe, in the Old Westbury Gardens.
I bet they're happy not to have been in Key West.
Yes, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they're not still there. I'm not sure if there
Yeah.
might have been any damage, but
And there's
yeah.
one outside of Fitzgerald's.
And right now, we do have what we're calling a little teaser statue that is.
It
positioned
is. It's
outside
really
Fitzgerald's.
effective. And I assume, because I guess they're bronze, that they would be bronze. Well, they're painted.
Yes.
And it's,
Very lifelike, right?
Yeah.
Very realistic looking.
Yeah,
I would
very.
say. Yeah, yeah. So many people may have seen it at September Fest. We had it over the weekend at September Fest, and now it's positioned outside of Fitzgerald's. And for the Chili Challenge, we'll move him back onto the Performing Arts Center grounds for the Chili Challenge.
and so there'd be approximately how many? And you have to pay to get this here, right?
Yes.
But people donate, and some people have
Yes,
donated
we're hoping
already.
People will donate. Yes, Simsbury Bank has been a big contributor. They've donated $10,000 to the project so far. We will have at least 20 statues, possibly more, that will be positioned on properties all over town that people will be able to walk, and/or bike to.
Yeah. Well, okay, so what determines the locations? Like if I made, say I'm a pizza place, and I made a large donation, then does that mean I could get a statue in front of my place?
Very possibly. There are many different sponsorship levels that people can take a
Oh,
look at and
okay.
decide what works for them. And once you do donate at a certain level, then you do have the privilege of placing a statue on your
Okay,
property, yes.
to get a statue then, what is the level they have to donate?
The minimum would be $12.50 to have a statue placed on the
Okay,
property.
and this is going to cost, what the cost basis is $60,000 minimum to get it here?
Yes, and
Okay.
that covers the cost of bringing the statues here, positioning them, insurance. Of course, we have to have insurance, marketing it, promoting it, and all. So.
But $12.50, if that's all they did, and there are only 20 statues, you're a little over a third of the way there. So we need donations where people, they don't need a statue
there's a
or
range
want
of
one.
sponsorship opportunities from $150 for someone who's just really excited about the project but can't commit a lot to it. They're starting at $150 going up to $10,000. As I said, Simsbury Bank has contributed. So there's
they
really
get
a level for everyone.
They get 5 statues around. They're like armed guards or something like that, right?
Simsbury Bank is wonderful, great supporter of the town.
Yeah.
And the chamber.
Well, I think that's phenomenal. And May through
September, May 15th through September 15th of next year.
I would think, boys, the word gets out that it's so novel. I mean, it's kind of spooky, so that I could see families wanting, if they saw a picture of it in the Current or something, saying, oh, the kids would get such a kick out of this. And, walk through the center and
I think
get
that's
lunch
the idea.
here.
That is the idea, and people are encouraged to touch them, take selfies with them, climb on them if the kids want to. They're very durable. There's nothing going to happen to them. So they're very interactive.
Okay, well, now you have about a minute left. If you want to wind up and say something about the chamber.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I would just like to say the Chamber is growing. We have so many different things going on. I know many people in the community have been coming out and enjoying our latest program that we've added, which is our rush hours that we're doing every other week at a different business from 4 to 6 p.m. Come into that business and get some kind of a great deal. Tomorrow, it'll probably be past by the time this airs,
Yeah.
but tomorrow, Ravenswood Natural Health is our host, and go into the store between 4 and 6 and get 15% off of anything in the
Ooh.
store. Bill Seelig will be the next host. You can go in there and pop a balloon and get anywhere from 15 to 30% off your price.
Oh, I was going to say, otherwise 50% off of some of his stuff would be, woohoo, you could turn around and
Yeah,
sell it and make some big bucks on it.
So that's something
So-
people are very, very excited about.
Well,
So-
you have breathed a bunch of new and original life into the Chamber, and I think it's quite exciting. And I think that, everything that was there, that was great, that supported the community and the business people, that remains, but there's so much added to that. And I think this statue thing is just great. I hope one of them is eating a bowl of chili.
Oh,
That would be great. Yeah, that would be great. I'm not sure there's one eating a bowl of chili, but
Well, Lisa, I want to thank you very
Thank you
much
very
for
much,
giving us your time. And you, of course, Queen of Simsbury, thank you.
Thank you, Jerry, and thank you, Lisa.
thank you.
And I hope you all enjoyed the last half hour and that you'll join us again next month on State of the Town.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.